Welcome back to Ray and Florence's yard, garden in the making. And today we've got 5 garden beds in progress that we are building, getting in place, and filling. So follow along as we take you through some considerations, pros, cons, what to do, why to do certain things a certain way, and let's dive right into it.
Okay, so we got JD back here doing the auger method, mixing up the soil. So let's talk about soil. What is soil? Well, we could go really deep into this. Basically, soil is a mix of sand, silt, and clay, organic matter, and air. So what you see here is straight compost. We talk a lot about how lucky we are in San Diego to have a greenery that you can get relatively free. For those in San Diego, if you want to self-load into your own bins or the back of your truck, it's free. You can just show your ID, show up, and get this beautiful black gold compost. They went the route that we always take, and if you pay 12 bucks, you can get it dumped into your truck. I'm sorry if you don't have that. I'm sure you're very jealous, but move out to San Diego. It's the most expensive place in the United States, but at least we have free compost, so that makes up for it. Okay, so if they were to just use this compost and grow into it, it would be fine, but compost is continually composting, so the nutrients that are packed in here are not yet accessible to plants. So what we recommend is a mixture of topsoil and compost. So you have the soil that already has the nutrients ready. This compost is going to be mixed in there, and it will slowly over time, as water and the microorganisms break it down, release the beautiful nutrients, and your soil is just going to get better and better year over year. What you will find if you plant in this mixture of compost and topsoil, the first year is going to do fine, but it's going to keep getting better and better and better. So don't second guess yourself and think you need to add a bunch of amendments. It will get better over time.
Topsoil, let's talk about it. So a couple things you can do is you can find bags. That's, for most people, the most accessible if you have a car. We recommend, if you can, go to a nursery, support local. We love one, I will name it. City Farmers is great. We love going there because we live close to it. We get a truck full of it, and it's easy. You don't have to deal with bags. You're not adding plastic waste back into the environment. But consider the cost. Bags of soil, depending on the brand you get, can range from 10, 20, 30 bucks a bag, and that can add up very quickly. So buying in bulk is our way to go. And so if you have a local resource, a good hookup that you can drive up to, fill a truck bed, maybe grab a friend, and that's going to be a lot quicker, easier, and save plastic.
Next thing is an often forgotten step, and that is you're gonna have to water as you go. You have so many cubic feet of soil, it's gonna take so long for water, if you were to wait until it was all the way full, to make its way down into the ground. To have good plant growth, you're gonna want moisture all throughout the bed, not just the top ½ inch or inch. So a way to alleviate that is to water as you go. Now, you probably can't tell, but it is barely sprinkling here in Santee, which is a beautiful thing, but even if it's raining, it's just not going to be enough to actually fill the bed with water the way that you need to do it. So I highly recommend, maybe after every truckload, put some water on it. It's going to take time for that water to soak through because compost is very hydrophobic. But once you let that time pass and the water gets in there, it holds on to moisture so well. That's one of the reasons why we use compost. But again, if you're just watering the top, it's going to sit there. It's going to take you so long to eventually get that bed wet the way that you want it to be. Okay, so let's do a little experiment. I'm going to just sit this on here for a really long time. Now, JD used the auger method to get this all worked up, so there is a lot of air and a lot of space for it to go, but let's just let that, see how long that's going to sit there. So that's got some pretty good drainage to it, but what's amazing is when we move this back, right here, it's still dry as a bone. So as you can see, it's going to take a lot of water and a lot of time. That's why we recommend to water as you go.
We have our bed fill in progress here, mixing in topsoil with compost, and then next thing you want to do is, as this comes up, as you're watering it in, you want to protect this soil. You want to retain moisture, and you don't want the sun beating down on it and just killing all the little microorganisms. So one of our favorite things is mulch. Adding a nice thick layer of mulch across the top to really help protect the soil, protect your seedlings. Of course, brush it back when you're planting, make room, making sure that you are protecting what you've invested in. If you just leave this bare, it's going to dry out so quickly, it's going to heat up, moisture's just gonna wick through here, and a lot of that work's gonna have been for nothing. You're gonna really not be making the most of your growing space. So, as we always say, compost, great, mulch, great, things you can't miss. Bridget talked about it a lot in her 4 things you can do this year to become a better gardener. That was 2 of them. So go back, check that video if you haven't already, but short version, mulch.
It's like a birthday present.
King of the castle, king of the castle.
Okay, this last piece, we're gonna throw it in here. It's such a huge topic that we've done a whole series of videos on it, and that is irrigation. The last thing that you want to do is spend all this time buying the lumber, buying the topsoil and the compost, and putting in a lot of effort to make a garden bed, and then just rely on yourself to hand water it. I'll tell you from experience, it's no matter how excited you are about gardening, you're gonna forget, and you're gonna come out here and all this work is gonna go down the drain when your plants die. So definitely come up with a plan to irrigate, and if you have no idea how to do any of that, go check out our other videos. We'll tell you everything you need to know.
Alright, so with drip irrigation in place, we love using a timer. Your plants will have the moisture they need, but what about the nutrients? So compost will release nutrients over time, but we highly recommend always knowing your soil. Get a soil test if you want to, and usually you're gonna be using fertilizer. There's different kinds. You can, especially at this point of the process, you can add in an organic granular fertilizer that's going to slowly release over time. And if you have heavy feeders, think about the summer crops, cucumbers, tomatoes, squash. Those are going to need a lot of nutrients, and then that's where we're looking at doing a liquid organic fertilizer, something like a fish emulsion, and that's something you might be doing as often as once a week, depending on your soil and how you've built up the health of the soil. So that way your plants will have the right growing media, they'll be protected with the mulch in this nice garden box you've built, and they're gonna get the moisture and the nutrients that they need to survive and thrive, so that way you're gonna get the most out of your garden and not end up with little sad Charlie Brown plants.
Okay, before we end this video, I wanna remind you guys to like and subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified anytime that we put out video. Actually, I'm not gonna tell you the last point until you guys do. Go ahead.
Click.
Yeah, click. I'll put a little animation in there. So the last point is, this video has been a 101 on how to fill your garden beds. We realize there's a lot of content on the internet in blog form and video form of what else you could put in your garden. There's vermiculite, there's perlite, there's bone meal. There's a ton of different recipes. We personally at San Diego Seed Company grow a lot in ground. We haven't educated ourselves on that. If you are more of a sciencey, nerdy type person and you want to get your soil exactly the way that it should be for the specific plants that you're growing, go out and find that information. But for us, compost, topsoil, mulch on top, drip irrigation has worked for us for years, and it'll work for years for you too.
Yeah.
Cool.